Thank you for joining
Hello,
us.
ma'am. Yes,
Congratulations on your admit to ISB.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So please tell us about your profile and your background, work experience, etc.
Okay, so I'll just tell about me briefly. I'm Swarsud and I'm 26 years old and I'm from Shimla, Himachal Pradesh, and that's where from I've done my high schooling from. And I've done my BTech in Nautical Technology from Solani Maritime Institute. And from there only I was selected by NYK Ship Management for their cadet training program. After successful completion of my shipboard training, I obtained my navigational officer's license from the government of India for a foreign going vessel, and I was reinstated by NYKSM as in the capacity of a third officer. So presently, I am a third navigating officer on board foreign going ships managed by NYK, and till now I have the experience of working on four different types of ships. And in broad sense, my experience is of operations and in merchant navy. And apart from this, my interest includes reading, swimming, and traveling.
Right. So can you tell us about your decision to pursue an MBA and why you chose the specific program you applied to?
Okay, so I decided to pursue an MBA because it has been around, I have around 3.5 years to 4 years of work experience. And my all work experience was on board ships only. And on board ships, I was involved in this middle mile operations. So working on a ship, I had this desire to know about other aspects of supply chain industry. The first mile and last mile, how all planning is done and execution is made. So watching all these operations from close quarters at sea, I had this interest that I wanted to know the management side of it and wanted to shift to the management role instead of the operational roles I was performing right now. So that's when I decided to. I talked to some of my seniors who had gone through this route, and then I decided, okay, MBA could be a route that could help me make this transition. And when I finalized that, okay, I would make this transition through an MBA, then then it had to be decided which college from where MBA had to be done and whether in India or abroad. For me, it was always that I wanted to stay in India. Abroad, I was not thinking only because, in my perspective, you should think of abroad if you want to settle abroad in long term, like after 10 to 15 years. But that was not my case. My parents were pushing me, my relatives were pushing me that, okay, if you want to do an MBA, it's better to do from abroad only. That's a common perspective, I guess. But for me, I decided that I wanted to do it from India only. And that's when, so yeah, it was that I wanted to do from India because I don't want to settle abroad later in my life. And what I think is that India has all the opportunities that I was looking for abroad. If there is something that India had not to offer, some specific course or anything, then I think it makes sense to go abroad in my case. But looking at my parent condition, India was the best option for me. And that's why I decided to stay back in India. And then I just had to lock in some college for MBA, and everyone wants to go to the best college. So when you decide for MBA from best college in India, you everyone knows it's IIM ABC or the other option is ISB if you want to be in the top. So yes, I am. I incline towards ISB because of various reasons. And one was my work experience also. IMA was required at least four years, and B Bangalore and Calcutta requires 5 years. So I was not fitting into that bracket also. Uh, I come from a non-conventional background, and going into MBA, making a strong transition in my career, I require to learn a lot of new things and a lot of networking. So ISB gives me that opportunity of 900 students, a strong peer group to learn from so many. Also, that 2 years work experience, I rightly fit in that. So that was my primary reason for going for ISB and applying for ISB only.
Right. So, given your very typical routine of work, so your, the travel and the station part of it, how did you manage and how did you prepare for the GMAT?
Okay, so GMAT preparation, I took online classes Okay, I took online classes from GMAT. There's some site, and I took the OG guide. So from these two, and one thing I noticed that it does not require too much of preparation, but all you need is consistency. So I personally believe I cannot guide very well in GMAT because I don't have that much great score. But people can learn from my mistakes, which I tell everyone. So the mistakes I made, I did not schedule my test. Okay, because it is in your hand, you always procrastinate. Okay. So the first suggestion I would give anyone is the day you decide you want to give GMAT, schedule your test that day. Okay. Decide a date, 2 months, 3 months. I think 3 months is fine. Like today is 15th Jan, 15th April, you should schedule your test. And after that, scheduling your test, just maintain consistency. Decide you have to study 1 hour. Don't break that. Why I say that? Because I remember during my preparation, because of my traveling and sometimes I went on vacation, those 4 5 days gap also hurts so much. It's so difficult to get back to book. So from GMAT Club, you can download the app. You can do questions while you're traveling or anything. So just 5 10 minutes will always keep you in that loop. So don't get outside that loop for that 3 months and give a lot of mock tests. Weekly mock you should give, and you should buy the original mocks. Those five definitely you should give, and other that your portal or your instructor offers, definitely. I always shied away from mocks, and I know mocks are very important. So these are my three suggestions. Maintain consistency, give a lot of mocks, and schedule your test well in advance. Don't say that, okay, I'll try. I'll think after 1 2 months, I'll see how my preparation is, and then I'll schedule. Schedule first and then start preparing. And if in your first attempt you don't get your desired result, schedule within 1 month. Don't wait, okay, 2 3 months. Don't take that gap. I made that mistake and I was never able to give the GMAT again. So I only gave one because it's very difficult to get back to books at this stage. So consistency is the key, I would say.
Right. And since you are from the merchant navy background, you have a different schedule of the way your education proceeds. So could you just walk us through how the education or maybe how your work experience counts, from where it counts towards the eligibility part for the ISB application?
Okay, so I mean, I have a merchant navy experience. I have an engineering degree, BTech in nautical technology, and it was I think it's mainly around why I count in ISB because of diversity and the inputs I can bring to my peer group. So one is I bring diversity and a wide variety of experience because I have this experience of traveling around the world and seeing a different industry altogether. And so ISB does value diversity, and my work experience in terms of application was well highlighted. There are many things everyone does, but your application has to be put in the best way possible. So for your application also, you have to start well early. Suggestion is it's not that you'll start 10 or 15 days, you will not make it. You'll definitely, if you want to, but it's better to start early. 2 3 months, like I contacted you very well in advance because I knew that I had to work hard on it. I'm coming from a different field. So start early, and you have to think about everything you have done till day in your life and share with your consultant or your mentor, anyone who you're consulting with. So because the consultant has that knowledge, what you think is the best, other person will not think is the best, and what you think is not a good thing in your profile, the other person will think, okay, this can make impact because consultants have that knowledge, or your mentor would have that knowledge. They have gone through it several times. So share with your consultant everything you have done till date, and that's it. They'll guide you through it. And essays are the key. If you think you brainstorm for long and think everything you have done that has had some impact on your society, organization, or people around you, you can make a good application and a good essay out of it.
Right. So the next part is that how did you approach the essay portion of the ISB application? And could you please also share an example of any challenge that you faced and how did you overcome it?
Okay, so essay portion, I would say that I took your help for my complete application process. So you shared a questionnaire with me. Okay, that questionnaire was very helpful. I mean, if I just sit down and start thinking about what I've done, it would be very difficult for me to recollect. But you had framed the questionnaire in such a way that there were questions that were making me think in that direction. So altogether, I was thinking, and there were days when I was not able to write even a single line or anything about or any story. But as you get in touch, you start writing, you start thinking, and you're able to overcome that. So I would say your questionnaire was well framed, through which I was able to think the things I have done, and I was able to give you so many stories, and you were able to extract two, three beneficial stories for me. And that essay made the piece. Like you rightly said before, you are not going to write my essay. I am going to give you my stories, and then you'll refine it. So that's it.
Right.
Other
And how,
aspects of
yeah,
okay. Other aspects of the application also, like what have you done? Many aspects to a ISB application, like your critical points in your work experience, what you have done in your college, university, or anything. So there are many things. You have to select the best five. So yeah, your consultancy was helpful for me. And I always say you always need a mentor, and it's best to go through a consultant because consultant has an incentive to help you, and we all work best when faced with incentives. So yeah, you need to have a mentor.
right. And how did you prepare for the interview process? So what advice would you share with other people who are preparing for interviews?
Okay, for interview, my interview process was also different. Right after application, I told you that I want to prepare for interview because in my case, I was very nervous. I had not given an interview in like 5 years. The last interview I gave was for my for my college placement only. So I was very nervous about it. And right from beginning, I have this perspective: if you're preparing for selection, then why wait? Okay, when that mail will come to me 1 week before, then only I will start preparing. If you're preparing for selection, you cannot think that you will not be shortlisted for interview. So right after submitting my application, I decided to go for the interview preparation, whether I received that mail or not. So we started our interview preparation. Initially, you shared the document for interview preparation also, many videos which helped me structure my thoughts. There are many generic questions. Everyone knows that what will be asked in the interview, but it's a very different. My interview experience was very different. Hats off to interviewers. When I went into interview, I went with a completely different expectation, but they made the situation so calm that it was just a normal conversation, and I didn't even knew when we blended into professional questions. So it was just a conversation. But it's a high stakes situation, so everyone is like, you cannot go like it's all chill, I'll answer. So you have to prepare well, and you have to what can help you in interview from application perspective only. If you build your application with clarity, you will go through the interview smoothly. There's, I mean, it. You just take 3, 4 mocks. Don't over prepare because then you will be just speaking like a parrot in front of them or getting nervous. So just have that clarity while preparing your application only. That's why it's the key to start early and have clarity in your mind that why you want to do something and why do you want to go to a particular college and why do you want this course. If you have this clarity, if you have the clarity of your past work experience and your future goal expectations, you will make through it. It's just a conversation, and you need to have your clarity, and that clarity can only be got through if you brainstorm, thinking about everything you have done and everything you want to do ahead in your life.
Right. So what would be some tips and strategies that you would suggest for people who are, just getting started?
For a strong application, start early and get assigned to some mentor. Okay, there are many consultancy services available. I mean, do your research, find the best one that suits you, and get a consultant. That I mean, you should go for a consultant until and unless you have someone in your family only who can guide you. Because you just cannot be that I'll contact someone on LinkedIn, they will check my essays and we'll go through that. No, you have to go through the consultant route. That is my own perspective because you don't know. Consultant has that knowledge, and it is a one stop solution. Wherever you're stuck, a consultant will help you. It's just a mentor. Find the best mentor you can. If it's in your family, that's good. Otherwise, there are many available outside. That's it.
Right.